So in this video, I'm going to discuss who would win between Spiral Goji and Amped Ghidorah. I'll be going over both amps as it's not only needed for second amp Ghidorah scaling, but also watch time. So first, the first amp Ghidorah got in Boston was a significant increase in power compared to the base form, one-shotting Nuke Amp Godzilla and being able to easily beat him. Base Evo is not standing a chance against an Amp Ghidorah. It's stated a 2x boost, and that's not enough off Nuke Amp to be first Amp who one-tapped a Nuke Amp who is only getting stronger. So firstly, Spiral versus first Amp Ghidorah. Spiral's increase is unclear, and no, it's not a 20x boost. That's his radiation capacity, and he did not gain 20 times the radiation of the biggest nuke Monarch had whilst they were being helped by the military. His AB also didn't seem to affect Shimo much more than base Evos, but was showing to be fairly equal to Shimo on the physical level, but we didn't quite see enough to determine whether he was maybe slightly above or equal to Shimo, who is the strongest Titan in base form in the Monsterverse. But how impressive this isn't as much as you'd expect. Shimo and Goji have fought in the past, and it's hinted it was more so a draw, but Godzilla left the fight knowing he wasn't gonna win. He's never stated to have amped himself in this experience. That likely is the reason that Goji knew the specifics of how to counter her soda after brushing her teeth breath. Spiral Goji likely isn't much of a boost off Evo. Now for first amp. He was able to easily one-tap Godzilla and Mothra while she was weakened. I do have Spiral winning the first against the first amp due to speed, agility, and IQ. While in his nuke form, he was able to speed blitz, Ghidorah, and Evo is obviously significantly faster than just nuke amp Godzilla. Assuming first amp doesn't do his light work show, I got Spiral winning this mid to high diff. Now for second amp. I don't see Spiral standing a chance at all. He had just been amped by the entire electricity grid of Boston and absorbed a significant amount of Godzilla's radiation, as well as absorbing radiation after Mothra gave Godzilla all her power at once. Ghidorah by this point was simply too much. He had already absorbed a significant amount of radiation and power by that point, and Spiral simply didn't show enough for me to say he could beat him. You'd have to argue Shimo is stronger than second amp Ghidorah, which wouldn't make sense in lore, especially given she was holding back in GXK. Given after his first amp, he was able to incapacitate Nuke Amp Godzilla in one hit, Shimo should have been able to slap Godzilla once during their fight and kill him. This obviously didn't happen, so because of lore and feats, I discussed Spiral beating first amp Ghidorah, but getting absolutely thrashed by second amp. I have a video debunking Spiral being stronger than Thermo that goes more into detail about his scaling and the debunks that I know you're going to mention. So please watch that before commenting anything here. And I know there's going to be a lot of arguments and, I'm wrong, bag munchers. But just within the lore that we have seen, the consistency, the feats, Spiral isn't that much stronger than Evo, and it seemed to just more make his beam more concentrated and probably slightly more stronger and durable, given that he was able to tussle with Shimo a little easier than in base form. But you would have to do a significant amount of just jumping, reaching, and thinking that you're fucking, I don't know, whoever the tallest nigga alive is, when you'd have to argue the Beast Glove would also be more durable than second amp Ghidorah, which, people, come on now. And if you're saying this has nothing to do with the argument, Shimo not only bit the glove multiple times, the Beast Glove was able to withstand her freeze Ooga Booga breath for a pretty long ass time. And the glove was fine, no marks, no scratches on it. So you'd have to argue that Kong with the Beast Glove would be better than second amp Ghidorah, just due to relativity and feats. Which, again, no. Kong is strong, and underplayed and overplayed at the same time, but I'm going to do a video about that. Anyways, the biggest thing that's going against Spiral is just the lack of screen time actually doing something. His only screen time was missing Scar King, and just slightly grazing him once, not even as much of a hit as he got on Kong. His beam not doing anything to Shimo at all, and then tackling Shimo, and from the few seconds we saw, they seemed fairly equal. I guess you could give Godzilla the slight edge due to us seeing Godzilla pushing Shimo before the crystal blew up. But Shimo is not that strong. She is the strongest Titan in base form, but once you get into amps, she starts to lower down that list quite a lot. Well, kind of. She's 4. But she goes from 1 to 4 behind both the... Well, I would see her beating the first amp Ghidorah. So no, I'll go 3. I'll go 3 behind the second amp Ghidorah, and then obviously Thermo Godzilla. Maybe back to 4 if you have Spiral above her, but I have it more as Shimo is greater than or equal to Spiral, just due to what we saw. But again, that's more on the filmmakers for not really showing us enough to get a clear answer on that. And again, I would recommend probably, well, it's a little late to say it now, but watch the the Spiral versus Thermo video and then come back and maybe rewatch it or something like that. Definitely not just for the views and watch time. I don't even get paid, fool. But just because I go into more detailed debunking Spiral in this video, I'm just going over what's shown. I actually debunk the scans and shit that people try to use to claim he's stronger than Thermo, which is no. So that's where I got the fight going. I think Spiral could speed blitz first amp Ghidorah, assuming that he's not gonna do the first initial attack. That he's got the amp and he's going to just charge at Spiral. But once he gets the second amp, that's just simply too much of a significant boost. Even off of the first amp Ghidorah, definitely gaining more power from Godzilla himself than a radiation grid of Boston. So if you disagree, like I said, I would recommend watching the Spiral versus Thermo video, just because that goes into more detailed debunking Spiral. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, and have a good one.